Hi, it's Ellie. You found the Hidden Grove, and I have decided to make a video. I have been gone from YouTube for a while, and I moved and started a job that I needed some time to get acclimated to. I also got engaged, so that's exciting. And yeah, this video is gonna be fun, easy to watch type video, easy to film. I'm just doing, I guess, a type of deck collection video, except I'm showcasing all of my green decks. So all of my decks that feature the color green or just feel like green to me. So yeah, that's kind of exciting. Let's get started. The first one, which has a very green box, is the Alchemical Tarot. This is the 5th edition. I specifically looked for this edition. I got it secondhand because I really enjoy the like parchment colored background. The newer edition of this deck has a blue sky background. And I really like the parchment just for this kind of deck. I'm not super, oh, also that squeaking sound is my dryer. It's haunted, so it makes like screeching noises. I don't know if you could hear it, but yeah, I think I'm not super into alchemy. I would like to be one day, just to learn, you know, it's fun to learn new things, but for me, this deck is just a very straightforward reader. It's very intense. It feels like the images are, I don't know if this glare is too much when I pick the deck up. I don't know. It feels very intense, and it's a pretty clear reader for me. One day I would like to go deeper into it with the alchemy, but that day is not today. For now, I just am really enjoying these images. It feels very corporeal, very like of this earth and of the body, connected to physical sensation. Like, yeah, so it's good. Good deck. First green deck, and the borders are nice too. It's a very tight fit in this box though. I always get nervous when I'm putting it in there. And this sits on my shelf, on my bookshelf, because I like that it's upright. All right, the next green deck is the Robinwood Tarot. This is a great deck. I really like it. I think it's kind of underrated these days in terms of just like RWS clone. I think I have it in order right now, or no, I don't. I did at one point, just to put it back. I like to put my decks back in order when I'm feeling like using one before I like get really into it. So if I decide 1 month or 1 week that I'm gonna use that deck, I'll start the week by putting it all back in order. I guess it's kind of a cleansing process, but for me it's also just looking back through it, reminding myself of what the imagery looks like while I'm putting it in order, and like becoming reacclimated with the deck before I dive in. But I think in terms of just like RWS clones, this is a really underrated one. I think it's so great. And it's just really clear for me. Love this Two of Swords. Yeah, there's these green like Celtic knots on the back, which are cool. I don't know if that's what that is. I'm guessing. Yeah. Getting back into the swing of making a video. It's been a couple months since I've been here, so. Okay, next one is a bright one. the Runners of the Sun Oracle. This is definitely very green, at least in the box. And then also on the inside of the deck, we have this really funky green font. I enjoy this deck a lot. I think it's really cool. I really like the keywords. I enjoy collage very much. This one has a lot of familiar images in it. It's very nature-based. There's a lot of like plants and animals in it, along with, you know, the imagery. There's so many animals. These cute goats. So cute. I hope I'm speaking loud enough. I'm like kind of far away from the camera. Also, I know this lighting is very harsh today. I'm sorry, it's nighttime, so I just have the flash of my phone camera on, which I know is not ideal, but that's what it is. I like also how there are some cards that have like it's like sister to the tarot cards. I don't read them the same as a tarot card. Like, I wouldn't read this the same as I read the Temperance card in the tarot, but I think it's cool if you're doing a reading and somehow they both come up. I think that can be really cool, and, you know, like kind of gives you a deeper meaning behind it, because, you know, I think in this oracle, it has a different context for the meanings of those cards than if you would pull it in the tarot. All right. That was the Runners of the Sun Oracle by Amelia Rose. I'm actually scheduling a tattoo appointment with her soon. I think I'll go sometime in October. I'm really excited. She's a great artist, so that's going to be really cool. Okay. Next, green. Oh, a classic, of course. The Smith-Waite Centennial, a little green guy. Yeah, it's like this sage green on the backs, and there's a lot of green in the cards too. And for whatever reason, the kind of like overlay, the sepia toned like overlay, makes this feel more earthy as a deck. Beautiful. I love Pamela Coleman Smith's art. I also love that these Centennial edition decks include like extra art cards from her, so you can see some just like outside of the tarot context art. I think it's interesting because her images of the tarot have become so iconic that you kind of forget that she was an artist outside of this world. Yeah. It's almost like when, I guess this is a really bad analogy, but it's almost like when a big company uses like a music artist's jingle in their commercial, and then you only come to associate that song with the commercial and not with like the artist and the other songs they produced. Not a weird analogy, but this is a comfort deck for me. It's very comfortable to use. It's very familiar. I grew up with the tarot images. My mom had a Rider-Waite deck that she used to read with, and so I just like, those images feel like childhood to me. All right. Next one is the Illuminated Earth Oracle. So because this is a very like plant and nature-based deck, there's a lot of green in there. I mean, inside of the box, there's the green. The font here is in green. I edged mine in this like strange, I guess like periwinkle color. Yeah, I think it's fun. I don't know if I would redo it that color, but I don't like, it's fun. Yeah, so here we go. I haven't used this deck in a while, probably since the beginning of this year. I took a big break from tarot. When I was taking my break from YouTube, I was also taking a pretty big break from using tarot. Pretty much the entire month of August, I didn't use tarot. Wait, I have here, this is like my planner, and at the beginning of the planner, I keep my track of my daily pulls. You can see I was using tarot in July, and then pretty much the entire month of August, except a couple days, I like didn't pull tarot at all. Yeah. I don't know, just something like it, I just needed a break, I think. Something felt off. So yeah, I really haven't used this deck since probably like January of this year, but I do love it a lot. And I also used it a lot when I first got it. When I got it, I don't know why I thought that would be written on the box. I don't really remember what year I got it. I think it was like 2020 that I got this deck. And I used it so much. It doesn't feel like the right time again to use it yet, but maybe in the winter time. Oh my God, there's some ants on my carpet over here. I wonder where those came from. Okay. Nicoletta Ceccoli. Green box. I'm sorry I'm not very talkative right now. Getting back into these videos is feeling kind of weird. I'm feeling like I really want to participate in the tarot like community online again. It's a really beautiful and like accepting community, but I'm also you know, still in a bit of a slump. So about this deck though. This deck gives me really, really interesting messages. I really love just staring at the cards I pull and seeing what sort of feelings it evokes. And the guidebook is surprisingly good. This little white book. I wasn't expecting it. It's really good. Sometimes this deck makes me really sad. That is all. Okay. Next green deck, Nature's Wisdom message cards. This is a really, really cool deck. And sometimes it makes really sense. Sometimes it makes a lot of sense in readings for me, and then sometimes it doesn't at all. Like, it's funny. I'll pull cards with this deck, and sometimes the meaning or like the associations with charcoal or the flower or feathers, sometimes that association evokes really quickly for me in a reading, and then sometimes I'll just pull it and it gives me absolutely nothing. It's super, I guess, hit or miss depending on how I'm feeling, or depending on, I guess, the kind of reading I'm doing. So that's interesting, but I do love having it. I think it's really nice to just have those, like, it has some meanings on the back. I don't usually use these in readings. Sometimes if I'm just like, you know, playing with the deck and like looking through that, I'll read the messages just for myself, but I don't usually use those in readings. I just kind of stick to my own personal associations with whatever's on the card. Yeah, it's nice just to have a deck of like natural things that I would encounter every day. because they, you know, they have a lot of subconscious associations with everyone, I think. And a lot of times we don't even realize it until we are intentionally looking at it and trying to figure out how we feel. There's the green. Beautiful green. I don't know if I'm going to do this tag in the other colors. I kind of want to, but I feel like the largest majority of my decks are like in this green category. So I'm like, I feel like if I made another color, it would be like just like three decks. But oh, this is a new one. The Viator somniorum oneiromancy deck. Oneiromancy means dream interpretation. So it's a dream interpretation deck. This used to be called like Alchemical, the first printing, and now it's in a more eco-friendly material, and it's in this like sage green box. It's really nice. And the backs are also this like light mint green color. I don't really know the difference between mint green and sage green, honestly, but I'll just go with it. I haven't really used this for dream interpretation. I would like to, but I feel like if I did, I would have to seek out the cards I was looking for and less of like a shuffle experience. And I really love the shuffle experience of this deck. So I don't use it for dream interpretations, but I do pull cards in spreads. And sometimes it will remind me of dreams that I've had. But most of the time, the deeper message of the card goes past just like a single dream and deeper into like, you know, stuck. I mean, that's a very vivid dream experience when you're stuck somewhere, but it's also a more like life experience, you know, like you could relate being stuck to so many things. Conflict, movement. Like, I think it would be really cool if I was to use this for dream reading, to just kind of like find all of the little parts of the dreams and just spread out every card that applies to it in a spread and see what that evokes. Guidebook is pretty cool too. I read through the guidebook when I first got this deck, like fully front cover to cover, and I really enjoyed it. I feel like this would work well for at least the dreams I have, because my dreams tend to be strung together in almost like a series of like events, like in a row, that just so much is happening that I feel like I could use a lot of cards for one dream. But yeah, and I love the way that this deck is illustrated. World of Dreams. The Source. Oh, so good. That's really good. This deck and the Runners of the Sun Oracle just to like have particularly good keywords. The next deck, which is definitely not green at first glance. It's very, very orange box. This is the Moon Baby Tarot. And the reason I chose it in this green category is because I feel like one of the most notable attributes of this deck are these bright avocado green sides. And I just think of these green sides whenever I think of this deck. And this always sticks out to me. So even though the box is very orange, oh yeah, that's some green. I really like this deck a lot. I don't use it as much as like the Centennial. When I'm gonna pull an RWS, I generally will just pull the Centennial. But I think it's beautiful, and I think if I was trying to maybe match an RWS with a certain Oracle deck, or I don't know. I've used this a good amount of times, but I don't know what would pull me to use it over the Centennial deck. I'm not sure. I think it has to be like an intentional choice, or I'm just feeling groovy. a lot of green in here. It's a very simplified color palette. We have the orange and the magenta and then the green. It's great. All right. I don't know if I want to add these in this category. Are they green? This one is. On the back, on the fronts, not the backs. This is Mixtress Ray's Oracle, the Magic and Medicine of Plants. And it has these cool, like, army green borders. And I love the images. And it's in this eco cardstock, so I don't even know how to describe the material. It's like a soft paper almost. I mean, it feels like not recycled, like, you know, when you make paper out of pulp. This is like an activity I used to do when I was a kid, like kids crafting. You used to like melt candles and then like make paper out of pulp. You like blended up old paper and then like pressed it, dried it out, and you can like make sheets of paper. I don't know. I remember doing that with one of my good friends in elementary school, and I had the most fun. And that's what this feels like, is that pulpy paper that we used to make. I mean, the ones we made, they were never very sturdy. They would always kind of fall apart when you tried to write on them, but we tried our best. And this deck it's on a, I think, Make Playing Cards. So yeah, it's a nice green deck. I keep it in this bag with one other deck. The Faerie Tarot. Oh, this one is so good. It's so good. I wish I had more of Natalie Hertz's decks because I love her art so much. And this is, it's just, oh, so good. Look at that. This devil card. The box is green, and it's green because fairies love green. I think. I feel like I associate fairies with the color green, but it's so colorful. It's not just, you know, it's good. Look at the moon, and the sun is also smiley like that too. I love these cards so much. I have never used this to read for other people, but because I think people, when they see this deck, would maybe get distracted by the colorful borders or like the interesting looking fairy people. So I wouldn't use it to read for someone else, but I love it for myself. Look at the Hermit. Look at him. Yes. And the Fool. I love these like little like gnome fairies. Like the imps. They're so good. The female fairies in this deck look a bit more severe. Like they have like these intense jawbones. Oh, here you can see like these intense like jawbones and like intense stares. And then the little male fairies are kind of more silly. All right. Another green deck. I feel like I wish I had some music playing in the background. I feel like I have a lot of stretches of silence going on, but that's okay. You guys don't care. I'm making good time. Okay, next is the Enchanted Forest. Tarot of the Enchanted Forest. Enchanted Forest Tarot. Yeah, that. So green. So fairy tale. Awesome. I did my year ahead spread with this deck, and so I keep referring back to it whenever I'll pull clarifying cards for that month. Like sometimes I'll refer back to my year ahead spread and reflect back on the card I pulled for that month and maybe pull some clarifiers, and I'll use this deck because this is the one I used for the spread, and I love coming back to it every so often. Just it's so fairy tale. I love it. It's not my, I guess it's not my usual like deck preference, but something special about this one. it just feels like every card has a story and all these characters have something to say. And they feel welcoming and like relatable. And they have these little strange and scary troubles that I feel like, even though we're in this fantasy world, they're very relatable in the emotions that they evoke. So that's great. Great deck. Next is a deck that I never expected myself to get this kind of deck. I usually don't go for like the witchy type deck. Like for example, like Everyday Witch or Green Witch or like Modern Spellcaster. I don't have any of those, but for whatever reason, this deck, which is like brand spanking new to me, the Tarot of the Witch's Garden, just like something about it was right. It's in order still because I'm going through the guidebook right now. I'm reading through. When I got it, it was bowed, so I guess I'll just have to shuffle that out of it. But I'm reading through the guidebook right now, so I'm keeping it in order. But something about it's just right. It's just good. And so far the guidebook is written so well. I'm really enjoying it. I love these, like, I just love these images. Very, like, I don't have the words to describe what I think about this deck. It just felt right. And I don't think I have any other decks like this. I guess the closest one would be the Tarot of the Enchanted Forest. But, oh, wow, yeah, this is so good. I'm so excited to like really get to know this deck. It's so exciting. Yes. Awesome. This bag has been used for so many. I like rotate this bag for different things. It always has a different deck in it. I don't know. Okay. Next up, Woodland Wardens. This beautiful, oh, I love this green. I don't know what it is, what the term for this green would be. Leave a comment if you know, but I love it. What is it like? I can't even think of what kind of green that is, but it's beautiful. This is a great deck to pair with literally everything. It pairs with everything. I think decks with borders like this are easier for me to pair. I've seen people chop off the borders of this deck and it looks good, but I love the borders for me because that makes visually kind of some like distance between this artwork and whatever artwork I have in like my tarot deck. So I feel like I can pair it with anything. I mean, even if the art isn't similar at all, it's just like that border of space to kind of create the separation is perfect for me. And I love animals and plants and all the meanings. The guidebook is amazing too. I'm really all about those guidebooks. If they're good, they're good. But this is a deck that I actually always use the guidebook for. With tarot, it's actually strange. With the Witch's Garden deck, I usually don't read through the guidebooks of the decks, of the tarot decks I buy. Oracle decks, I will. But with the tarot decks, I just like, tarot is tarot. But for whatever reason, with the Witch's Garden deck, it feels like every card has its own story, which makes me feel like I need to read the guidebook. I didn't feel that way with the Enchanted Forest one, though. That one I felt like I could just read out of the box. I actually never read that guidebook. I've heard it's good, though, but yeah, okay. This is a rant about guidebooks, whatever, but you don't care, probably. Okay, two more. This one, which I'm realizing now on camera, would probably be more blue. It's like a teal color. It's the Tarot of Musterberg. I don't know, Musterberg. It's also known as like the Ginger Tarot. And I associate ginger people with ginger hair with the color green. For whatever reason, I just feel like people who have red hair look so good wearing green. Green things just complement them so well. I think of Ireland and I think of how green it is in Ireland. So there's the color green. There's also a lot of green in this deck. I don't know if this is a really weird thing to say. That people with ginger hair, I feel like, look really good in green. That's just what I've noticed. My fiance is ginger. He has red hair. So I always think he looks great when he wears green. Yeah, this deck is a little confusing to me though, because it's like, it makes you think it's gonna be a Marseille deck with these like, with the majors, and then you get to like the minors and you're like, oh wait, no, just kidding, it's not. It's just pips arranged in a random way, not Marseille, but it tricks you. Tricksters here. Which I think is kind of funny. I'm like, how do I read this? Well, I generally just read it like a Marseille deck, like use numerology, but it's not Marseille. So I don't know. Is it meant to be something else? Is there like something it's replicating? This way of arranging pips like this? I've never seen that before in any other deck. If anyone has, let me know. I also like the way this sounds. It's like a good, I don't know why the material of this sounds like that. I also don't know if it comes edged like this. I got this secondhand, so I'm not sure if this is the way it came or not, but I really love it. I think it looks so cool. And then the last deck, which also doesn't have a lot of green on the box, but contains a lot of green, is the Goblins and Gardens tarot deck. Contains lots of green because it uses old like gardening manuals. Is that what it is? Gardening encyclopedias, and also Dungeons and Dragons campaign books. But there's lots of greenery in here, lots of plants. I love it so much. This is also a deck just like the Faerie Tarot. I don't use this for other people because I feel like if you're not super familiar with tarot, it's way too distracting. If I had a friend, I don't have a lot of like real life friends who are super into tarot. So I feel like if I did have one, I would use this just because I would know that they were familiar with the cards at the base level and might get something deeper out of this. But for someone who is not familiar with tarot, I wouldn't use this deck. I think it's there's much too much to look at, much too overwhelming, but I love it. I think it's so fun, and I also really enjoy D&D. I mean, I have a D&D group right now that I'm having a lot of fun with. Sometimes, you know, once I log on and I'm like in the group, and it's a virtual group, so once we're like playing and we're in it, I'm having so much fun. But I also like hate having commitments. So every time the day of the week rolls around that we meet, I'm like, oh, I can't believe I made this long-term weekly commitment. And then I get like, oh, I can't believe I did this. But then once we actually start playing, I'm having the best time. So it's like, it's funny. Anyway, those were my green decks. I'm gonna arrange some around here for a thumbnail. Okay, I feel a lot better now. I was feeling really like weird at the beginning of this, but I'm feeling better. I'm really happy to be back making videos. I think it's gonna be a super good time. I think it's gonna be a good time, and I have a lot of things to say. This was just kind of like, you know, a collection video, but I am really getting into studying the Tree of Life and Kabbalah, and I think I want to talk more about that on my channel. I was thinking of spreading out an entire tarot deck as the Tree of Life, and maybe doing a spread with, I don't know if that's like people do that already. Is that a spread someone's doing? But I want to make it a spread. I want to do that. I don't know if I like the way this looks. I'll make it, but yeah, anyway, that's the end of the video. These are my green decks. They're so green. They're so lovely. It's fall is ending. Winter is starting, right? No, summer is ending. Fall is starting. I don't know. I don't even know what time of year it is, guys. Like, I'm like so disoriented. It's fine. I'm fine. Okay. It's great to be back. Meg, you inspired me as well. You just seemed to be so happy. And I was just like, you know what? I just need to get over my anxiety about making a video. I felt like after a certain amount of time, I was like, oh no, I can't just jump back into it now. It's been so long. What's the deal? But yeah. Bye-bye.